Hey, this is Haley Harrington, joined by Rashawn Myers. Hey, thanks for tuning in to our main event sports show video. Now, if it looks like we're in the same outfits that we just did for our college football playoff background or
We're going
breakdown,
overtime, people.
we're doing overtime. So, yes, we're the same outfits because we just did this about 4 seconds after the last video. But that's okay. So, we're going to break down Houston versus Louisville Thursday night at ESPN. Another marquee matchup for Louisville. I have to thank Mr. Lamar Jackson for getting Louisville on so many national televised broadcasts because it is only because of Lamar Jackson Louisville is getting this much run. Having a Heisman hopeful is a great thing, a great thing because you get a lot of run, a lot of pub, a lot more TV time than we probably deserve. But who cares? So let's break down this game. This game scares me. I'm not sure about you, Rashawn, but this game scares me. The Houston Chronicles already come out and said that the Houston players, view this as their Super Bowl. After they wet the bed and they lost to Navy and took themselves out of running for any playoff consideration or an at-large bid. They lost again. They got blown out by SMU. So now they're kind of reeling. They've dropped out of top 25 altogether. People saying that it may not be a good win. This is still a very talented team. A lot of talented players. They can still play ball. They have a great offensive mind in Herman. I know they've been game planning for Louisville pretty much all season long. Like we kind of put them on our schedule as a big game. I know they've done the same thing. We're going to get Houston's best shot. So what worries me is that Louisville's had a habit these past couple of games. Against Duke, against Virginia, and even against the first half Wake Forest, we don't show up. We just don't show up.
But I think the biggest thing that you want to look at, if you're looking at it from a Louisville perspective, is first of all, you have the anger over tonight's selection committee ranking.
Anger does help.
Anger does help. When this
anger
Louisville
does help you focus.
Has come out with a chip on their shoulder or an opportunity to actually play a team that they respect. We saw it versus Florida State, what they did in that game. We saw it versus Clemson, especially in the second half when they, shook off the slow start. We saw it versus NC State as well after NC State took Clemson down to the wire, but then ultimately came up short. When Louisville came out motivated and came out with something to prove, they played very well. So I think that from that vantage point, I feel that Louisville's going to be ready to play, and if there was any question after tonight's proceedings, they're definitely going to be ready to play. The thing that worries me is that you have a team in Houston that is still very, very good. They have the second longest home winning streak in the country. Okay, they've won 14 straight games. Tom Herman has not lost there in the last couple of years, and you have a team that's still very, very talented. Greg Ward Jr., the quarterback, was a Heisman hopeful at the beginning of the year. He is dealing with a shoulder injury from, it was a very, very weird play, like he kind of lost the ball and went diving for it, and the defensive player fell on his arm. It was a really odd play. He came back and played after their backup broke his arm. He's done for the year. So Greg Ward came back in the game. They did not move the ball at all. I think they had a total of 5 yards, the rest of the game. So I don't know how good he's going to be, but he's going to pull his best Willis Reed and try to come out and carry Houston to a victory. As those guys have talked about, this is their Super Bowl. This is their last opportunity to have a big showing. We have seen Louisville be in this position at Rutgers on a Thursday night. We've seen Louisville be in this position to have a marquee win on the road at Miami in a raucous condition. Louisville has been in this position before and they've not gotten it done. So they need to be all hands on deck. And you know what? I think that the motivation from tonight's decision from the selection committee will help that. But these guys got to show up and play. Can't have the fumbles. I asked Coach Petrino about it. I asked Lamar Jackson about it. I asked Brandon Radcliffe what's going on with these read option fumbles. I've never seen a team have the fumble against the two worst teams in the NCAA in fumbles. Louisville is the worst. Kentucky is second worst. And I don't know what that comes to, but they can't have those turnovers.
Well, turnovers, period, is been Louisville's problem. Louisville, I think it was like in the top 10 for turnovers in the country. As far as turnovers lost, I think only Clemson. I think we're like worse than Clemson. Like we're like the worst, and Clemson's like the second worst as far as teams with turnovers. And to me, that has been the Achilles heel of this Louisville team. Now, normally with Bobby Petrino 1.0, we're used to a team that never fumbles and never gets penalties.
Very clean.
Yeah, this team's opposite.
Yeah.
They get tons of fumbles and they have a ton of penalties. We're one of the most penalized teams in college football. The penalties don't bother me as much as turnovers and drops. Usually when Louisville has a lot of turnovers and drops, that's when he start out really slow. If Louisville doesn't get that fast start, they have maybe a turnover, a fumble, or they drop the ball. They're kind of lethargic the whole game until they pop a big play and they kind of get the momentum going. The swag comes back, and then you see the kind of Louisville kind of get going. But the game is going well if Louisville doesn't drop the ball and they don't turn the ball over. Because right now the book is out. When Wake Forest came to town, one of the things the coach talked about was from watching film, they noticed that Louisville was very lackadaisical with the football, and we can get turnovers. And lo and behold, first play of the game, strip, turnover. A couple plays later, turnover, fumble. A couple plays after that, Lamar Jackson fumbles. Louisville has 4 possessions in the first half, 1 punt, 3 fumbles. So if we can stop turning the ball over, I think we can beat Houston, especially with Greg Ward being nicked up, and now we have Devontae Fields back healthy. That man was a difference maker against Wake Forest. I believe he can be another difference maker against Houston as well. So it's like we're getting healthy at just the right time. Chucky Williams is back. D. Smith is back. So our secondary is more intact. Like I said, Devontae Fields is back, and he has just been a beast. Hopefully, I'm assuming we'll probably see Josh Harvey Clemens. He was held out this game. We'll probably see him this week as well because it is a big game. So as we get healthier, the defense gets a little bit better. I think Louisville can win this game. Matter of fact, I don't think there's a team in the country that Louisville really can't beat when we play our A game. It's just that I just hope that now Louisville has this anger because we were treated by the playoff committee and kind of disrespected, especially by Joy Galloway, who just hates on Louisville for no apparent reason. I just hope these guys can kind of get it together and show the country what Louisville football is all about, especially since you have the stage to yourself. It's Thursday night. Nobody's watched the week NFL games. The NFL Thursday night games are horrible. Everybody's going to tune in to watch Louisville, Houston. Everybody wants to see Lamar Jackson, the future Heisman Trophy winner. So show them what you got.
Yeah, to me, the biggest thing is Houston comes into this game with the 3rd-ranked rush defense in the country. Louisville's going to have to make good decisions with that read option game. They can't put the ball on the deck. They're going to have to get Lamar Jackson going. I think that short intermediate passing game where they get the ball out quickly and let their athletes just kind of run and not try to depend on Lamar Jackson throwing a bunch of bombs down the field. I think they kind of fall in love with the home run.
You can guarantee. You can guarantee one of the first 4 passes in the game will be a bomb.
Yeah, it's going to come. But I think that the biggest thing is if you don't hit it, just don't keep going back to the well.
Go back to bubble screens.
The
running back screens at the backfield.
Yeah, those types of things. If they can do that, get Lamar into a rhythm. It's kind of like when you have a jump shooter that's not knocking down shots. Sometimes you got to get to the free throw line or get a couple of layups to get your game going. I think if they can do that, put some points up early. I think that the Houston offensive line has really been struggling this year. That's one of the reasons why Greg Ward only has 9 rushing touchdowns this year. He has not been nearly as effective running the ball because of that offensive line play. I think Devontae Fields, D'Angelo Brown, and those guys will be able to feast on that, and especially with Greg Ward having the banged up shoulder, you don't know how good he's going to be, and behind him they have a true freshman that's played little to none this year. So I think Louisville should be good. The biggest thing I want to see is them get off to a good start early, because if they can kind of put this team down early, I think that can snowball. But if you allow this team to hang in there, then we could be in for a long night, and it's going to be another tense situation to the end. But I do think that Louisville, especially coming off the news of tonight, will be ready to go.
So Louisville's keys to the game to victory. Number 1, don't fumble. Number 2, hang on to the football, catch it, don't drop it. Number 3, pressure the quarterback. And number 4, and I know we didn't mention this before, I'm going to say it right now, somebody besides Lamar Jackson, whether that's Jeremy Smith or Brandon Radcliffe, has to have a good game running the ball.
Yeah.
Louisville's offense is so much more dangerous when the other guys get involved running the ball. If you see Brandon Radcliffe or Jeremy Smith start busting out big runs, it's going to be a long day for Houston. Louisville wins.
There we go. And you know what? Make sure you guys continue to check out the Main Event Sports Show every Saturday afternoon, 6 to 7 p.m., only on 104.7 WLOU, the new home of the Tom Jordan Morning Show. If you can't catch us live, you can always download the app. Just go to the Google Play or iPhone App Store, search keyword Main Event Sports. We have plenty of photos, galleries, blogs, everything that you need, everything Main Event Sports. You can check that out. But this is Rashawn Haven, Main Event Sports, and we out.
Peace.